One second while I get this to the Discord channel, and we're going to be diving into the 4-hour soup that you see that's happening right now. Um, and we're going to see what that looks like on smaller time frames. I haven't looked at it yet, so it's going to be fun just to go through and figure it out. Let me get this to the group. I'm going to mute myself while I get this to the group. Whoops, looks like I forgot to change the title. Let me see if I can do that from here. Hey, Grip, I forgot to change the title. I'm trying to do this off of OBS. I'll be 1 second. Yeah. One thing I don't think I am, but um okay, screw it. I'll change the title after. Forget. Well, actually hold on. I am on YouTube right now. Let me change the title now. A little disorganized trying to get this going. I had no trades today. I had other stuff to do. Plus, I didn't really like action, but that soup that uh, was taken by Grizzy, friggin' banged. And it was like perfect, so I'm gonna dive into what that looked like. Yeah, Grills killed that trade, didn't they? Like that was epic. That was awesome. So like I want to dive in. Let's see what the structure looks like at the on on that soup. There we go. Okay. Updated that. Let's see if it actually works. Okay, go ahead and posted it in that. Yeah, and don't worry about this. This is recorded too, so y'all can skip this disorganized bullshit beginning that I have here. And as normal, I have like 6,000 tabs open, so. Okay, cool. Give people now that I have it posted both in our chat and in the main chat. I'll give it a second. But man, look at this, right? It's like we talked about this last night. where these were lining up pretty good. Look at where it's hit, look at where it's getting rejected right off the 2.5 there, right? So friggin' beautiful right now. We called this move last night before it happened, really. We projected this to break, rejected that to be protected, and for it to go. So I'm just going to dive right in. People can show up when they show up. So we drew this out last night while this candle was forming, and we were getting a rejection upwards when it was respecting the 50% of the higher time frame candle. We wanted to see it break structure here. Nice little tiny fair value gap here. So we could have entered anywhere on the pullback here with this on the 15 or even down to the 1 to get a precise entry once this broke and closed above, because I'm pretty sure that on that 15-minute it broke structure along the way. Yeah, it broke structure right there. We could have got in right here off of this play where the protected would be here. Broke structure there. We could have got in as early as here, but as you see, it like to play around Sunday night. Well, that's Saturday night rather. Yeah, because it didn't form until, it didn't break structure until right around here on Sunday on the higher time frame. Late night Saturday, yeah, right through there. Made that fair value gap. And now we're diving in to see what it looked like. How could we have entered this tap here? It tapped in, it broke structure right there, right? This is if you want to play the 15-minute, right? If you're playing the 15-minute, obviously larger stop, lower lower capital. You want to keep your stop loss the same every time. Dollar amount anyway. I'll keep doing that too. Let's go with the long projection. Yeah, but not necessarily that if it doesn't break through now, just like here, right? Before it decided to take off, it can tap it a few times. So we might see like a retracement down, back, retesting this higher time frame, this 4-hour order block, and do something like getting rejected at, as you see, about the 50%. It could do something like this on the long. It might take a lot longer time or not, depending on how it goes. But retest this like a bullish retest, and then play around here a little bit, or just break through. But until you see a willingness and change of structure, all depending on what time frame you're looking at, right? This could be a short here, down to retest this, and then it's a retracement short, and this could be a protected high, so we could show you what that kind of would look like, because it is kind of looking like it wants to break structure, right? Yeah, exactly. If the 50% hits and we start breaking structure, especially on the 4-hour, because that's what we've been playing is that 4-hour. It definitely could signal more down, right? But this is slowly breaking structure now. Right, so this, and I do play these, right? I expect it to come back down. There's a fair value gap here. Let's mark this all out. Let's get rid of this. So if you wanted to come and play this, right, we have this fair value gap here. We have this fair value gap here, which, surprise, surprise, right, is right on that break of structure. Usually, sometimes this one doesn't get played, but it might. So how could you play this? It's like you're going to come into resistance here, and you're going to come into resistance here. The highest risk one would be like if this closes and breaks structure below here. We have that as a protected, and you can play it to like the top of that fair value. It's only 1.5 though, so where would we have to pull? One at least a 2. We're around a 2. We're planning on that this bottom fair value gap being taken out, which it very well could. Yeah, the bottom could be in. Yeah, the bottom definitely could be in, at least for the short term. And that's why I've been playing this higher time frame. I don't scalp on Bitcoin, so I'm like just running through like this bottom. Yeah, this bottom could be very protected here. That could be the monthly bottom, and we're retracing back up to make the monthly wick, which is what I feel like we're doing right now. We're retracing back up to make that monthly wick. And then so we have that break of structure there, right? So that's, to me, that's kind of high risk. Unless you want to just come in here, and now we have, if once this, when does it close? It closes in another 5 minutes. So right now we're watching that 15. We're watching that 15 to see how it reacts here. You could have already been in this short on the 1 minute for a scalp. It depends on what time frame or how long you want to hold your trades, right? But I wouldn't. High risk because you have to come through this fair value gap. High risk because the 1 to 2 risk reward is into this fair value gap and order block. So you're just doing a counter trend trade. It could very well come here and go up. It could come down here and go up, or it could just railroad everything, right? Doesn't have to do any of that. But probability is saying that these fair value gaps are going to give them some trouble. So now, like, really wanted to dive into this one, but since we're right here, we can dive into this one because it's like right happening as we speak. Where would we have got in on that, right? Yeah, right, exactly. The only thing we don't know is it won't go left. It always can go negative too. That's always the fun part. Oh yeah, this, like, you can have a lot of gap risk on these ones for a short. I suppose you could even call that a break of structure there, but that's a tricky break of structure because, again, you have that fair value gap is going to railroad that fair value gap and go through this fair value gap and that fair value gap. Right, and then you got a continuation model here. Just an itty bitty sweep of the high, and then protected here. Oh, it's protected right on the 45. I hate when it creates the wick directly on it. Those are tricky for me. So you got break of structure there. So you're gonna go down here, protected. You would have got 4 to 1 so far, but where would you pull it? Maybe all the way down here. Come off this order block here. Retesting that bullish order block. We can also do the fibs. Get pulled backwards. Oh, look where that fib's landing right now. Where is it giving it the most trouble? Right on the 4, right? And that 4 lands right about 50%. So this 50% can give us some issue. So knowing that the 4 was all the way down to 88, it would have to be a quick little scalpy to get in and out of this. I don't think this offered enough on the retracement to really get into it. Like, it broke structure here, never really came back up here. It would have been some chop. But this wouldn't have been a bad play either. I know that all this is hindsight. This might not have been a bad short if we're playing to the top of this fair value up here. Yeah, you're getting it. Yeah, that's not a bad play right there. You're just gonna have to endure all that. This would have been exhausting to sit through because it'd be a drawdown a lot. But that was the very top. Let's see what it did down at the 4 hour. Okay, now we're on the 1. We saw that the 15-minute broke structure here, and that was the broke structure here. Some people like to call this a break of structure too. Not even a break of structure, just change the state of delivery here. Once this closed above, once this red candle closed above, I'm gonna Green candle closes above that red candle. That's another sign you could try to get in on it. Once it closes above a downturn, you can try to predict or run the probability that it is going to change state and start in here, especially after this reaction off the 4 hour. No, I was not trading oil when it hit zero. I wasn't trading then. I was like, I remember like, oh, I wish I knew how to trade this when it's in the negative territory because you just fucking long it. I don't even know if you could, to be honest. I don't know. So dropping down, that's that 15-minute candle that wicked in, the 4 hour candle that wicked in. And this really showed a real wanting to go up here. That was very emphatic. That was a good reaction. Yeah, long when it hits a cent, exactly right. Whoops, that's wrong. I mean, you really, this is like, and like this would be like a short-term scalp trade target. Here would be a target. There's a couple places you can put your stop loss on this one. This is epic. This is epic as we call this in the private chat. Uh, Long position. Safest is below that fair value gap to be honest, but we could call that a protected low. At the time, that would have been the safest. So let's just see 1 to 2 is there. It does take out that. Like pretending that this isn't here, let's try to find where would a take profit be? These tops would have been a good take profit on this scalp here. There's another way you could put your stop. Another place you could put your stop is here. You could also put your stop below that fair value gap candle right there, because if we're bullish, we're expecting it to respect that fair value gap. This may be a breakaway fair value gap or trade back in and make another swing low within that fair value gap on the 1 minute. So you could get 3, you could get 2. Oh man, this was like a perfect soup. Like this was like perfect, and then pull out fibs on the order block. Perfectly lines up with the 3. That would be a real good take profit goal. Lines up with the 3. Want to get aggressive with it if we look over on the 15-minute and see where would a 15-minute be at the top right here, right? We were expecting this. It did. Would be the change of state of delivery of the 15-minute once that closed above. Wait, does a 4 line up with anything? Yep, lines up with about this liquidity here and this that kind of bearish order block through here. So like higher risk, longer trade would have been here. Three to one. And how long did that take to play out? How many bars was that? $11. Say 11 to. It'd be in it for an hour. In for that for an hour. I mean, this is perfect. You have any questions on it? I don't know how many people are here. There, not many. But this is perfect. And now let's go do some more projections, I guess. I'm gonna delete all this. Yeah, it makes sense, right? I mean, especially when the 6 of us were looking directly at that trade too. Wanted to see what it would do off that 4 hour. But a sneaking, oh, look and see what this did. Boom. Like, it's coming back into that fair value gap. This does look kind of bearish on the one. It's retesting the order block. You'll see this happen a lot, right? And ICT says sometimes like the second trade is better than the first one, where it comes down here and it might even come down, like come down, but it's also a change. Like this again, it's a chop zone. What you're seeing here right now, and this is what makes me see like choppy. You're trying to catch the, oh man, on the ETH, because this is kind of signifying chop or like indecision. We have a couple changes in the state, right? We have this one and this one here, so we have two right off, which is usually a propulsion. It's respecting it fairly nicely. So now we're watching, and just because I say I'm only watching because I'm not trading. Like these would be like I'm watching because like if I was trading, I'd be looking to see what it does to get into the trade, right? Like if this, then that, right? If it breaks structure here, I'm going to play it down to this fair value gap, and that would have been a winning trade, right? That we discussed a little bit ago. Then if it changes state again, like it did here, it's getting, again, we've got to be mindful of the higher time frame. Fair value gaps is a bullish fair value gap on the 15. So bullish fair value gaps, what do you expect? You're going to hit some kind of resistance, and maybe even a reversal. And right now it's reversing. So this is like my no trade zone. When it starts getting into these, I want to see the reactions. We're reacting strongly out of it right now. So yeah, sure. This is kind of an indecision area, but it's showing a willingness to come up. Let's see if it does that next leg. Let's see what the 15-minute looks like. Oh, the 15-minute looks like it wants to possibly make a swing low, right? But not before one more leg down. Nice reaction. We would really want to see that 15-minute if we want to go in for a longer swing trade to change state again. And that's all I'm looking at over and over and over again. Oh man, that crypto would be epic. That would be epic. Somebody shared with me earlier. They got, hold on, I won't show it, but I'm going to bring it up on my private messages here. Someone showed me their freaking stats. Where were they? They entered at 82 on the long for quite a bit of money. So they entered off about the same place. No, actually no. Where did they enter? They entered all the way down here. Jesus, they got in good. 82. Somewhere in this area. Yeah, changing state of delivery is the gold standard for me. I can't unsee this shit now. It's just everywhere. Fair value gaps, and I don't even need all this, right? This is just extra confirmation for me. This is what we were trading off of. My question is this 15-minute have a open high low? Ah, crap, there's no tail on this open. So a lot of the times when it has no tail or no wick, it will create one, right? The price will want to get back there a lot of the times, unless you really like, see this one here, right? This one, yeah, this one's high was 101.30, close 101.30, and see how it traded back into it. It ran up, traded back into it. So this one could run up, get rejected up here, then come back down, and retest this fair value gap. Just because this has no tail, that's the only thing I'm going off of for that reasoning. This is like those little warning signs that you like you want to trust the trade. It like downgrades the trade. Like if this breaks structure, well now to me it's like a C trade because of this candle has that no wick. It puts on a lot more probability that this wants to come back down and cover that no wick. I think this is one that didn't, but sometimes it doesn't. Oh no, that has the tiniest wick. Look at that. 606.31 has a wick of 10 cents. I'm at a tail of 10 cents. Okay, sure, yeah, just send it in anywhere. I'll take a look at that question about the fair value gap. Yeah, they're magnets. Fair value gaps are magnets, and they like to be filled. So it's, you know how that is. Does this? Oh man, does this 4 hour not have a? This 4 hour doesn't have a wick on it. Just trying to find some 4 hours that look like they have no wick. They can have tiny ones. Those are like $1 or $2 wicks or tails. Come on, get through. Let's keep that. So yeah, that was just a quickie. It was perfect. I will see you guys in Discord, and this is recorded, so just come back and watch it a couple times if you missed it. Okay, see you guys in Discord.